What's up, guys? The Vancouver Canucks are still busy and they're still going at it. They have traded for Ethan Bear and Lane Pederson. In exchange, the Carolina Hurricanes get a 2023 fifth round pick. So we all knew that Ethan Bear was in the trade rumors. There was a lot of links to him going to Buffalo, even going to Vancouver, even Montreal at one point. And ultimately, he gets traded to the Vancouver Canucks, and they add a sweetener as well. So we'd like to hear your thoughts essentially on the deal, but we're going to be doing a breakdown for you guys right here in terms of what went down in this deal for Ethan Bear. So there's some conditions, obviously, in terms of what this trade has in store for us. Um, just give me a second here. Yeah, so Hurricanes will retain 18% of Ethan Bear's 2.2 million salary and cap hit. So obviously, some cap gymnastics, happening for them in terms of making this deal happen because Vancouver is, somewhat tight with their cap space. And, a position that Vancouver needed to essentially upgrade was their defensive core. A lot of people were saying that that's their weakest point, and essentially, they get a guy like Ethan Bear who unfortunately did not start the season with the Carolina Hurricanes, didn't play a game whatsoever, and now he's going to have an opportunity to go back to Canada and play for a Canadian team, but also have the opportunity and to succeed essentially and to actually find consistency in his game. Um, we all know there was a lot of drama surrounding Ethan Bear and so on and so forth, but we're not going to be getting into that. But we're going to be getting into the statistics of the player of Ethan Bear. So, right-handed shooter, 25 years old, born in Regina, 5'11". He's a former Edmonton Oilers draft pick prospect, fifth round, 124th overall in 2015. His best season was in 2019, 2020 with the Edmonton Oilers. In 71 games, he had 5 goals and 16 assists for a total of 21 points. In a total of 190 games, he has 13 goals, 34 assists for a total of 47 points. So not bad for a 25-year-old defenseman in Ethan Bear. And in terms of what they also get as a sweetener, essentially, Lane Pederson, who not really much on him in terms of like his NHL experience, more of an AHL player. But as we can see here, played for a couple of games at San Jose, 29 games, 2 points. Has been playing for the Chicago Wolves this season in 2022, 2023. Arizona, 15 games, 3 points. So nothing really crazy in terms of what they get in Lane Pederson. He's 25 years old. He too is born in Canada, and not in Regina, Canada, but obviously in Saskatchewan. So there's somewhat of a connection there. Don't know what's happening with the browser here, but oh yeah, this is a more clear statistics board for Lane Pederson. But yeah, you know, born in Saskatchewan, like I was saying before. So these guys are both Saskatchewan players, well, at least born players. And in terms of what we can expect for the Vancouver Canucks moving forward, well, they're going to be making more moves. Essentially, they're trying to shake up the roster. Yesterday we saw them trade away Michael DiPietro and, if I'm not mistaken, Migrant as well, who goes to the Boston Bruins, and they got a prospect in return. And here is a little bit of Jay Fresh's take in terms of statistic wise on Ethan Bear. So he's a puck moving defenseman who never really settled in with Carolina. Results were okay in depth spot, but he had better two-way results and a big role in Edmonton. Easy to forget he played some of the biggest minutes in the NHL in 1920. So you guys could take a look here in terms of statistics. Not bad whatsoever statistics wise. So hopefully it works out for him in Vancouver. And here, the cap space here in terms of Puckpedia. Canucks have 177K in cap space remaining in their LTIR pool with Pullman, Dermont, and Furland on LTIR. To activate Pullman or Dermont, they would need to clear $3.8 million of annual cap space from their current active roster. So that's a little bit interesting. So if these guys are being, acquired by Vancouver, who's the man out when all these guys come back from their injuries? Honestly, there's people saying that, they want JT Miller to be traded because he's not having the greatest season and he signed a long-term contract. Is it really movable at this point? We'll see. But I mean, he is a great player. We've seen it from all the past seasons with Vancouver, with Tampa Bay, with the Rangers that he's a capable of player, and he's very very consistent. Just this year, the whole team had a bad start, so you can't really crap on the player that much. Um, you also have guys like Pearson, who is a guy could also look at moving if you're Vancouver. Connor Garland as well, a guy who's been scratched a couple of times this season already, and he was acquired in the whole blockbuster deal that involved Ekman Larson. He's another guy that that's not playing like an NHL defenseman right now, and people are saying that if he didn't have that contract, that guy would have been put on waivers by now. Um, so yeah, so essentially that's my breakdown, and I do think that obviously the Vancouver Canucks do win this deal. It's kind of a no-brainer because they get two players, even though one player is probably never going to play in the NHL, but the other player will be a capable defenseman. But where do we see him essentially playing, Ethan Bear, on the Canucks lineup? Well, let's take a look right now at their lines. And honestly, if he played big minutes in Edmonton, I wouldn't be surprised if they try him out in a top four role. So right now you have Oliver Ekman Larson, you have Tyler Myers, Jack Rathbone, Cala Burrows, Guillaume Brisbois, and Luke Shen. That's because there's injuries right now, and as you guys can see, there's a lot of them. And when a guy like Quinn Hughes is not playing, that's a huge, huge loss. And obviously Riley Stillman, who's a defenseman, is out too. Um, so yeah, and Travis Dermont, who's a defenseman. So they took a huge hit on defense right now. If I'm not mistaken, even Tucker Pullman is a defenseman as well. So they need some defensive depth as of right now. So, we'll see what happens there. Do we expect power play minutes for Ethan Bear? I mean, I would give it to him because right now in the first power play, you have Oliver Ekman Larson. And I honestly think, what we've seen Ethan Bear do in the past with Edmonton Oilers, playing with guys like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins, I think he's fully capable of being a guy who is a very good two-way defenseman and who's essentially better offensively. And if you put him on this first power play unit, let's say with Kuzmenko, Horvat, Pederson, and Miller, I think he could really flourish. And this is going to be a steal of a deal for Vancouver if Ethan Bear gets his game back to a consistent, you know, level. And we're gonna take some comments here. Didn't Canucks win the trade because they traded two good players? Well, Blaine Pederson, not really anything of an NHL player, more of an AHL player, in my opinion. The real prize here is Ethan Bear, essentially. That's the guy who I think, is what they were targeting. And, a lot of people were, linking him to the Vancouver Canucks. So it's a no brainer that essentially the Vancouver Canucks win because, look at his stats, we've seen what he's capable of doing as a player. So, I mean, he just needs to find his game. He needs to be put in a position to succeed. And right now, the Vancouver Canucks are doing kind of a shakeup, to try to save their season. And I do think that, Ethan Bear, is going to be part of the solution moving forward. Is Vancouver going to make the playoffs? I don't really think so. But I do believe that Ethan Bear is going to be able to be a very underrated defenseman in the league as he was with the Edmonton Oilers previously. And yeah, I honestly, Vancouver wins because, like I said, there's a lot of upside in terms of Ethan Bear and Lane Pederson was just a throw in, basically AHL caliber player, nothing special. Don't expect anything from him. And he was part of the Brent Burns trade that had Brent Burns go to the Hurricanes, and Lane Pederson went with him. in part of that whole blockbuster deal. So he didn't really last long in Carolina, essentially. So yeah, guys, we'd like to hear your thoughts. Did the Vancouver Canucks win this deal? Did the Carolina Hurricanes win this deal? It's really up to you guys. I'd like to hear your thoughts, essentially. But it is what it is. He had to be moved. They got a fifth round pick in 2023, the Hurricanes. They got rid of a headache, essentially, if you really think about it. But, this is good for the player. It's good for the team. They need to upgrade their defensive position. They also need a very good, defenseman. And I think a guy like Ethan Bear is fully capable of, playing in a top four role. And I would love to see if, he'll be given power play minutes because he is good offensively. And I would like to see if maybe they could put him on a pairing with Quinn Hughes on the power play. If I'm not mistaken, Quinn Hughes is a left-handed defenseman. Let's just check this out here. Um, Yes, he is a left-handed defenseman. So it would be awesome to see Quinn Hughes in the top pairing with a guy like Ethan Bear. I think that would be awesome. I know they're both offensively minded, but I do see Ethan Bear being better in terms of his two-way game. I think he could improve defensively, and I think Quinn Hughes could improve defensively. But I know a lot of people crap on his game a lot because he's more of an offensively minded player, and I think he'd be an excellent forward. But it is what it is. But guys, like I said, I want to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. If you guys are interested in Bet99, the link is in our description below, like we say every video. You guys can use our Young Guns code, Young Guns 1. And you have to be 19 years old and up to play, and you have to play responsibly. And also the Mind Foundation Canada, they raise funds, and they're currently focused on neurological disease and disorders and mental health, so you guys could help them out by donating. With that being said, guys, we'll see you on the next episode of the Young Guns podcast. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in for this NHL trade breakdown.